Y'all, I had been sitting here talking for, I don't know, a good 10 minutes, and I wasn't even recording. It was asking me, was I sure? And I didn't even see it. Okay, so I've already started eating, y'all. I haven't eaten much. I was mainly talking. But I got steak and salad. This is our third video with Mukbang Rebels. So what I'm talking about is I'm just continuing from the interview video that I did with Sister FEFE the other day on her channel. So if you did not watch that, go check up on that one. And then come back to this one. You can see where I'm catching up from. When we ended her video, it's basically after my stomach surgery, my gastric bypass, and I lost the weight, gotten down to where I wanted to be, which was like size 16, 18. Actually had my daughter, had Rayon. I lost even more weight after her. I got down to smaller than I actually want to be. I got down to where I didn't like how I looked. Like I looked funny. I looked like I had a really big head. And so I didn't like that. I got down to like size 12, like 12, 14. And I just didn't look right. I'm a really big, I have a big frame. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm a big woman. I have broad shoulders. I'm a big woman. And so I just looked weird. And so I just kind of started eating more carbs and got myself back to like my 14, 16, 18 range where I was happy. And then, 3 years later, I got pregnant with Shaylin. And the beginning of that pregnancy was a really, really hard, bad pregnancy. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't drink anything. Everything came back up. Even water. For almost 3 months. It was well into my second month when I was at work and one of my friends had some extra spicy hot tamale jelly beans on her desk, and I was passing by, come back from the bathroom, and I grabbed one and I popped it in my mouth. And when I did, when that heat hit my mouth, the nausea went away. Because I was continuously nauseous, like I was always nauseated. And it went away. And I was like, that's interesting. This spicy candy didn't make me sick. And so when I got off work, I stopped somewhere and got like a spicy soup or some spicy chili soup. I stopped and got something to eat. I don't remember what it was that I got, but it was spicy. And tried it, and it didn't make me sick. It stayed down. And so then I was like, okay, cool. So I can eat hot stuff. That's what she wants. She want hot stuff? Okay, cool. I started making like gumbo, making it spicy. Jambalaya, making it spicy. I can do spicy. Cool. And so when I did that, now prior, when I could not eat, I'm going to the doctor and the doctor's yelling at me because I actually gained 50 pounds that first 2 months of pregnancy, and the doctor's yelling. He's like, you can't gain this much weight. This is way too much weight. You just got pregnant. You got 8 whole months to go. You can't do this. And I'm like, I'm not eating. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. I'm not eating, but it was basically just fluid because, my body will hold a lot of fluid, and I wasn't eating, and it was just, packing on fluid for whatever reason. And so Excuse my giant knife. I didn't want to interrupt Rayon and ask her to go get me another knife, so I'm just using this one. Is here. Shh. No, quiet. And so, when I started eating, that 50 that I gained, that fell off like really quickly. By the time I went to my next doctor's appointment. And then, of course, he's yelling at me again. You can't lose that much weight. You're losing too much weight at one time. You can't do that, blah, blah, blah. You know, like, all I did was eat. All I did was start eating. You know, I'm not doing this on purpose. Like, it's just, I figured out I could eat. And it was the craziest pregnancy because I could eat spicy food. And then to drink, I figured out that I could drink grapefruit juice. Strangest baby in the world, I guess. But, yeah. So after I had her, well, during that pregnancy, I gained, I think, 11 pounds. I gained 12 with Rayon. I think I gained 11 with Shaylin. And so when I had her, I lost that 11, plus I lost like 30 or so more. And again, I was back to my, 16, 18, where I like to be. And I stayed there. We moved here to Oklahoma in, I think, 2012. And I was still, that size. I have bad knees, and I had to have, I needed to have a knee replacement in both of my knees. My left knee was worse than my right knee, so that was going to be first. But he was trying to put off me doing it because I was, I'm young, and, you hear about replacements, that's, older people. So the left knee had gotten to the point where it would dislocate all the time. Like several times a day, it would pop out of socket, but I could pop it back. So he decided before he tried a replacement just to go ahead and go in and try and do a fix on the meniscus and a fix on the tendons, that was allowing it to pop out of place. So we did that. It was a day surgery. I went in, he went in my knee. He cleaned arthritis, some of the arthritis out of the back of the kneecap. He tightened the tendon, closed it back up, came home. I had to basically rest and let that heal. And I did some therapy and stuff, and just basically wait for all the swelling to go down to see, how my body would react. And so did that. I went back to work. I was doing my home health. And one day I was in the bed asleep. I guess once the swelling was all gone, I went to roll over and the knee popped out of place. Well, this time I couldn't pop it back because now he's done a surgery and he's tightened everything up. I couldn't pop it back in place. It's stuck out of place. If you've ever had anything pop out of place, you know that that is one of the most painful things ever. I had to go to the emergency room. They put me in a hard brace that had my leg just straight out like this, and I couldn't bend. And it's still out of place. Like, they didn't pop it back in place for me. It was still out of place. They just put it in the brace and then sent me back home with some medication. And I had to just wait until it popped itself back in place. It took like over a week or two before it finally went back into place. And then I was like, okay, you guys go ahead and schedule the replacement because this can't happen multiple times. Like, no way in the world. And so I had my knee replaced in 2014. Yeah. Right before Thanksgiving. Yeah, right before Thanksgiving 2014, because that's the first time I made my purple pies. Because I made my purple pies on a walker in my kitchen. I did a whole Thanksgiving dinner on a walker in my kitchen. I made my purple pies. I fed everybody. I went to bed. And I got woke up by my phone just going off and going off, my computer going off and going off, and I don't know what's going on. And, you know, when I finally look, you know, people are telling me that some woman stole a picture of my purple pies and was claiming it was hers, and all this kind of crazy drama was going on. And I was asleep. Like, I wasn't thinking nothing about them pies. But apparently somebody else was. Um, so I had to go to therapy and stuff for, you know, the knee after the replacement and stuff. During the time that I was going to therapy and stuff, I woke up one morning. It was just me and Shayla. She was still, you know, before she started school, she was like 3 at this time. And she was still asleep. Rayon had already gone to school. And I got up to go fix breakfast for me and Shayla before she got up. And when I did, I got up, I went to walk through the hallway, and there was this picture. Well, there was 2 pictures on the floor in my hallway up against the wall that needed to be hung up. It was pictures of some angels. And apparently Rayon had kicked it when she passed by that morning, and it was kind of catty corner one of the portraits. And so I went to try and step around it so I could grab it and move it and push it back up against the wall. But because, you know, I'm still recuperating from surgery, I'm not moving the best. I went through it. I went down, I fell. And I actually thought that I had cut myself on the behind. I knew there was blood because I could see it on the floor. I could hear it spraying, but I thought it was coming from my behind. So I just happened to have my cell phone in my hand because something had told me to take my phone with me because I'd probably be in there for a while, because it, you know, was taking me a long time to, you know, cook and do anything, because now I'm on a walker and, you know, that kind of thing. So I'm there. I call 911 and I tell her, I think, you know, I cut an artery or something because I can hear it spraying, you know, so it's really bad. She's like, okay, well, see if you can get something to put on it to stop the bleeding. You know, I'm going to call, you know, someone to come and blah, blah, blah. And so there was boxes in there. And I reached in the box and it was like one of Shaylin's baby shirts, and I grabbed it and I tried to put it under my butt and then flip over and sit on it because I thought I cut my butt, like I said. But when I went to flip, blood sprayed across the room, and I realized it wasn't my behind. I actually cut my whole foot wide open. Like, I almost severed my foot. I cut all the way across the entire top of my foot, up the side of my foot. I cut through all the tendons, 2 arteries. Yeah, I cut all the nerves. I cut everything. And so when I realized it was my foot, I took the thing from my butt and I wrapped it around my foot, and I pulled myself over to my front door, opened the front door so they could see, you know, me. And Shaylin woke up and she didn't know what was going on. And, you know, she walks in, there's blood all over the floor. I'm just laying there. I got this thing on my foot. And, you know, she's a baby, so I'm trying not to scare her. So I'm trying to keep myself calm, not panic, not scare her. And I said, Shaylin, she's like, what happened, mommy? And I'm like, Shaylin, go in mommy's room and bring her wallet. Bring mommy the wallet. You know, and she goes in the room. She gives me my wallet. By the time she gives me the wallet, the fire department got here first. They're trying to bandage my foot. Then the police department got here. So it's the fire department and the police department that are wrapping my foot, trying to get it to stop bleeding. And ambulance was the last ones to come. And my neighbor across the street actually took Shaylin for me, and called my dad. And my dad came to get Shaylin, but that was after I was gone. She took Shaylin across the street, and then my dad came and got Shaylin, and I went to the hospital. I was in the hospital for, I think, 4 days. I almost died in the hospital. I almost died in my living room, in my day room, basically, because I lost way more blood than what my body should even contain. But I'm still here. And then when I got into the hospital, I lost even more blood. Because I promise you, it was like I was being treated by the Three Stooges. I'll tell you that in another story another time. But when I came back home, I was basically bedridden because I could not use my foot at all. Like when I came home from having my knee replaced, I was on a walker. I was walking. Like when you have your knee replaced, you immediately start using that knee. You almost cut your foot off. You can't use that. It's 0 weight bearing. So I came home immobile. Being completely immobile like that, that's when I started gaining weight back, because then I stopped eating. I couldn't even go to my kitchen to cook, I couldn't go to the store to buy groceries to cook, because, even before, when I had the knee surgery, I could still use my walker, go, get in the car, go buy groceries, have Rayon bring me whatever I needed to the couch, and I cooked on my couch when I had that surgery. But when I severed my foot, it wasn't something planned. So it's not like I had a big stock of whatever. And it was just, sudden, out the blue. Now here we are. And I got to where I was only eating, once a day. And it was like my dad would come. He'd come in the morning, pick up the kids, take them to school, come back when school was over. When he'd come back when school was over, until they started just staying at his house. He would, I'd give him my debit card and he'd go get me, whatever I asked him to go get me to eat. And that would be the only thing I ate. Well, doing that, like, as I've said before, that's how I gained weight, is going back to eating 1 meal a day. I put on like a good 50 pounds. So now I am back in, well, I was up to like a 28, but now I'm back down to between 22 and 24. But I had actually gotten up to like a size 28. So I've lost back down. I'm now back to 22, 24. I want to get back down to my 18. But yeah, that's where we are at this point. No, I don't eat a lot. I'm going to try to eat these last 2 pieces that I cut. But I will finish the steak. Like, this will be my next few meals. I'll be nibbling on this every few hours until it's gone. Something I was talking to Sister FEFE about the other day when we ended our video. We were still talking for a while. And she was saying how she felt like she had overate during the holidays because she had made a plate and she ate the whole plate. But she said, she had lost weight. And I said, but you made a plate. You ate the whole plate. But did it take you all day long to eat that whole plate? She was like, well, yeah. I was like, You had how many meals off of one plate, and you stretched it out all day long. That just kept your metabolism going. That's, perfect. You ate one plate, It's not like you overate. You had a whole plate several times all day long. No, you had one plate that you nibbled on all day. That just keeps your metabolism going. That's like a wonderful way to eat. That's why they tell you have a bunch of small meals all day long. A meal does not have to be an entire plate of food. A meal is a few bites of food, a handful of, cashews. That's a meal. A piece of string cheese. That's a meal. A boiled egg. That's a meal. Like, you don't have to have a whole plate and clean it for a meal. No. Eat something. Just a little something. It don't have to be a lot of something. It's just enough to turn your furnace back on. Your metabolism is a furnace. It's burning fat. You want to burn fat? Turn it back on. So, I'll be eating on this for probably 3 or 4 more meals. Yeah. But it worked. I still have all that left. I'm full. I will continue my story next Saturday. Check out all the rest of the Mukbang Rebels. Their links will be in my description. I thank y'all for watching, thumbs up, subscribing, and sharing. And I will see y'all in the next video. So y'all come back now, yeah? Bye, y'all.